let it appeal. Let there at least be a trial. I think the stronger thing we need to ask is that in fact the rapes and the murders in Manipur and everywhere else in India by the Indian state on Indian people actually stop. I think I'll stop there. I'm sure a lot of you have a lot of things to add to that.
Thank you, Dr. Sunda. But I think I would want to invite Dr. Colvin, lawyer Colin to speak, and after that we can discuss. So, what do you prefer? Let's continue with the speech. Okay. Now I would like to invite human rights activist Colin Gonzalez to speak about the issue, and he has been part of this campaign as a human rights activist and also a Supreme Court lawyer, and I would like to invite you to speak.
Thank you, Rajesh. My voice is gone, so forgive me if I get squeaky from time to time. I lost my voice yesterday, came back a bit today. First of all, I want to speak a little bit about the provisions of AFSPA. It is often said, because that is the reality on the ground, it is often said that it gives you the license to kill. Now we must stop saying this. And it gives the security forces complete immunity. We must stop saying this. Because when we say this, we create a culture of permissiveness. We who are opposed to the Act say something which is not there really in the Act. It is the ground situation which makes us say this. So it's the practical reality. But we should not say that the law permits the security forces to kill at will. And when they kill, there is no remedy. These are two mistakes. The law says that if you have a suspicion that a person is going to engage in a terrorist offense, you can open fire to such an extent as to kill a person. There's nothing great about this. It's true of the normal penal code, normal police regulations. That suppose a policeman finds you're going to throw a bomb at him, he can kill you. Suppose a policeman sees that you're going to blow up a train, he can kill you. That's true even today. So the law does not give you a license to kill. It says suspicion of the commission of a terrorist act. Now what is suspicion? It's not that I see this man wearing a jacket, he looks like Che Guevara, I shoot him in the head. It's suspicion in law. Suspicion in law means there must be an objective foundation for your suspicion. It's not I just suspect. So did he have a bomb in his hand? Did he have a gun on his shoulder? You understand what I'm saying? So suspicion means suspicion in law, not a commonsensical notion of suspicion. So we can't say, I suspected, I stopped him at the barricade. He said something, he did something, he shouted at me, I shot him dead. Was he armed? Was he unarmed? If he's unarmed, there's no suspicion. Your killing is pure murder. Okay, that's the first point. Immunity. Immunity is for officers acting pursuant to their public functions. Right? I'm controlling a crowd of people. Suddenly somebody opens fire. I take out my weapon and shoot back. Justified. Right? But I stop somebody again at a roadblock. That person shouted and fought with me saying, you're treating all Manipuris like this. What a dirty way to treat us. Shot him dead. You understand? So it is pursuant to a public duty. It is not your public duty to rape, Manorama's case. It is not your public duty to torture. Right? It's not your public duty to shoot dead a person who's unarmed. None of these will get immunity. Immunity is a very narrow spectrum of activities where you can justify that as part of your public duty, you were forced to open fire in view of some threat to you. Right? So AFSPA, badly drafted, diabolic legislation, but we should not say things about the Act which give the state an even greater immunity. And that's why Sudha said, I think, if you take away the Act, people still think the same way. You still think the same way. You know, license to kill, immunity, and so on. So people don't prosecute. People don't file complaints. Why? Why can't we file a complaint against the colonel? He tortured somebody. Why can't we file a criminal complaint against him? Torture, there's no immunity. You can catch a person, you can shoot in self-defense, you catch a person by the scruff of his neck and torture him. It's a crime. Alright, so that's the first thing about. Now, this Act was interpreted in the Naga People's Human Rights case. Naga People's Movement for Human Rights case. And the Supreme Court, you see, why was the Act actually brought in? Not for really this immunity business and all that, it was meant to justify the presence of the army in a state. Because otherwise you have federalism, and law and order is a state subject. So law and order, the police is supposed to handle, not the army. It introduces the army in the state. How does it do it? The critical phrase is in aid of the civil power, which is what you said. Right. So I notify, this is a disturbed area, then I request the central government to send their forces, and the forces come in aid of the civil power. But the army comes and takes over Manipur, right? They take over Manipur, they put the political establishment, in a corner, they do whatever they like. So what does an aid of the civil power mean? And the Supreme Court in the Naga case said, it means that you don't supplant the police. It means that you act in an emergency situation where the police cannot control a situation. Police find it getting out of hand, and they call you, you come. When you apprehend a person, you can't interrogate the person. You can ask a few preliminary questions, no interrogation. You can't do police functions. And you take that person and hand that person over to the nearest police station. So what are the 3 or 4 elements? No supplanting the police force continues its activities, apprehend in an emergency, and take them to the nearest police station, no interrogation. No interrogation, indeed also no torture, obviously. Apprehend, hand over. Apprehend, hand over. Once the police have got the person, no emergency, go back to your barracks. That is what the Armed Forces Special Powers Act was interpreted as meaning. Right? Remember that, please, okay? Because we have a very dominant view, even in civil society, even in radical civil society. No, they can catch you, they can interrogate you, they can torture you. Nothing of the sort. The law is very clear. And an officer transgressing that limit. Now let's look at Manoj Mas case. Because we had just won Manoj Mas case 3 months ago at the High Court in Guwahati. Look at Manoj Mas case. 23, 24 years. Some 5'4" or 5'5" woman. No criminal record. 2 o'clock in the morning. Security forces come. Record showed. I'm talking about the record because we were there in the inquiry and all this. I'm giving you first time. You can collect the papers actually. Somebody should collect the papers in Manoj Mas case and publish it. Army comes. Police say they were not told that the army was going. So in aid of the civil power is not asking you to give them any aid. There's no emergency. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, for God's sake. There's a single woman, unarmed, in her home, not hiding in the jungle or somewhere. No emergency. They come. Alone to themselves, they come. Take her. The evidence reveals that they take her to the kitchen, and the brother who's hiding in the other room looks through the bamboos, and he sees this man take off his knife, the Assam rifle, 17 joystick, and slit her underwear, with the knife. That's his testimony. After that, he can't see. Then they take her out of the house. Then they put a hood over her head, put her and tie her hands behind her back. Then, this is the transgression of the Armed Forces Special Powers Act. Then they take her for 4 hours, and they give her a journey. They went from here, ostensibly looking for other persons who Manoj Mas said were part of a terrorist gang. What does the law say? What does the Supreme Court judgment say? Nearest police station. So we cross-examined. Did you pass by, when you went from here to here, you passed by, yes. You passed by this